insane. You keep it so low that we speaking your refrain. Adam Story's got a point, and if you let him explain, it's the pun of all puns, get a plan with Papa Wayne. Rum tapping the vein, 9 minutes bringing pain. MHOG secreting, leaving a stain. You ain't as dope as us, bitch. Stay in your lane.
And we're back in black. I don't know where
Where
this
are we
is
going with it? I don't know. Hey, the MHOG podcast.
I was like half like, is there an NSYNC song that's like, and we're back? And I was like, is Backstreet back? I don't. What? Back in black? I don't know. Okay, so
They all had a love child. That's what we just did. So
right, so it's just me and Rum, and we're gonna just start this in advance by saying this is going to be a short fill-in episode. I don't know if we're gonna do 3 episodes this week or what, but something happened. Wayne's lady is ill. We don't know what's going on, but he will not be able to post the episode that's supposed to be going up today. So Rum and I just, wanted to take a quick second, talk about a few things. Rum's got a story. We got like Star Wars Celebration was this weekend. And
I'm anxious to hear about that myself.
And but before we get to any of that, just want to mention, thank you to Mr. Okay, I know I'm going to mess up his name. I'm assuming it's Patrick Musumich, but it could be Musumich. It could be any number of things. I apologize, sir, but Patrick is I believe the head of PM Star Productions, who does like promotional gear for like all kinds of things, bands, what have you. And he's going to have an ad airing on the next episode because Wayne has all that. I don't have all that, so sorry, Patrick, but, just giving a shout out, PM Star Productions. And apologize if I fucked up your name, but I'm not going to apologize that much.
He fucks mine up all the time.
I fucked a lot of things on you.
Yeah.
I don't know why I went there. I don't
know either. I was just going to keep going with it. Moving on.
And we're back. So what do you want to talk about the Star Wars stuff first?
Yeah, let's start with that because I'm kind of interested in it. Tell me about it.
All right, well, this is the 40th anniversary of the original Star Wars movie, which at the time was just called Star Wars, and then eventually...
They're tricky.
Huh?
That's pretty tricky, huh? Just calling it Star Wars?
Well, eventually it became known as Star Wars A New Hope, or Episode 4, or whatever you want to call it, but but when it first came out, they didn't know if there was a time when people didn't know if Star Wars was going to be a thing. So,
really?
Yeah, they didn't have that foresight, so they just at the time just called it Star Wars, and it made an ungodly amount of money, and and then the second one, the third one. Me too. I really wish we could
just make an ungodly amount of money.
You know what? I don't even need an ungodly amount of money. I'd like to make enough money doing this.
No, I don't even want to be humble anymore. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of being humble. I want an ungodly amount of money. That's what I want.
Okay. Well, let's shoot for that, so make sure to spread the word about the Metal Handed Guy podcast, and maybe one day Rum will get his ungodly amount of money.
That would be awesome.
And then we'll go to hell because we're beyond God.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
It ties into my other story, but let's keep talking about Star Wars.
Right. So, this is the 40th anniversary of A New Hope coming out, April 1977. And was it in April? I think it was in April. Maybe I don't know. Anyway, it was 1977. Doesn't really matter. And unfortunately, last year Carrie Fisher died, so there was a lot of stuff about her. But they did also debut the trailer for the new movie. Well, it's a teaser trailer. It's not really a trailer. Like it's like they do that weird thing now, where they're just like, we're just gonna give you like one image of it. and you're gonna spend 6 months, and that's and no offense, I know Hunter occasionally listens over from Grinning Hosts, but he said he recorded an 1.5-hour podcast of him and Brad Jost of Jurassic Park podcast doing a breakdown of the teaser, and I was like, the fuck did you talk about for an 1.5 hours?
On the teaser.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I mean, what is the teaser? A minute? Like, when you talk 90 minutes?
My favorite things are when they release the teasers. It has absolutely nothing to do with the rest of the film.
Well, I mean, this isn't that. I saw the teaser, and I was like, everybody went nuts over it. I was like, it's okay. Like, it's, I think I've actually I did a video about this. I've come to the conclusion that I'm not really a Star Wars fan. Like
super fan, but you like Star Wars, but you're not a super fan.
No, well, I mean, I guess you could put it that way. What I'm saying is, those 3 movies I love. They're arguably, if you combine the 3 of them, they're my favorite movies of all time.
Okay.
And I'm a big fan of Star Wars Rebels, the series that's on Disney XD right now.
Yeah.
But everything else I've noticed, like I thought I'd be a huge fan of, and I remember I went and saw the prequels in theaters. I saw all 3 of them in 3 theaters, and I was like, those weren't good, and those weren't good just because they're bad movies, but, and then The Force Awakens came out a couple years ago, literally a year and a half ago now, and I was like, oh, that was pretty good, and then Rogue One came out, and I was like, that was pretty good. And I read the comics, and they're like, they're okay. And I've just realized, like, after watching this trailer and seeing how people react, I'm like, I'm not really a big fan of, like, the big Star Wars franchise. I don't collect the toys. I'm not really into any of it. I just think those 3 movies are incredible, and everything else is just kind of like, I'll watch it. I'm actually more excited for the new Pirates movie.
I'm kind of following the same suit. I like Star Wars. We all know this. If you're, alive, most people know what Star Wars is about, whether, to a degree, but I wasn't a super fan of the last movie. I just didn't.
Which one?
I didn't dig
Rogue
on the
One?
Characters.
Rogue One or The Force Awakens?
Rogue One.
Okay.
I mean, I thought it was good. I thought it was good. It's entertaining.
I thought but
I wasn't like, I didn't think it really held a candle to the rest of the storyline.
Right. I thought the last 45 minutes of it were really, really good. I thought most of the movie, on Grinning Hosts, we actually recorded it was actually like a 3-hour podcast that we cut down to like 2 hours. But we talked about it, and like they were kind of over the moon for it, and I just thought like the first 2/3 of the movie were just like almost boring. Like the only good thing was the robot K2SO, who's incredible, but
right.
But all the characters, I'm just like, I don't really care. The actress was super hot, but could not act. It was kind of like the if it was the NCIS LA of the NCIS series. Really? I actually think that one's the most entertaining just because it's so stupid. Well, not stupid, but it's silly.
That's how I looked at that last movie. I was like, which is kind of funny was, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Rogue One's the one that had the little tiny alien in the bar that was like
no, you're talking about Maz Kanata.
I don't know.
The one that's got
one with the big
eyes.
Glasses.
Yeah, no, that's The Force Awakens.
Okay, that's The Force Awakens. Okay, that one to me was the NCIS LA of the Star Wars. I apologize.
Oh, okay. Did you see Rogue One then?
Yeah, I did see it. I just forgot. I thought I was getting my scenes mixed up.
It was that forgettable.
No, but again, it really, I watched it and went, I watched it, and then it was gone for me.
Well, and that's kind of what I'm getting. And look, and I actually like The Force Awakens. I think it's a pretty good movie, and it actually feels like a Star Wars movie. But yeah, just like the movie that's coming out, like I thought the poster looked really cool, but I'm just like, I can wait for it. I actually thought you got Pirates of the Caribbean. That trailer came out. Thor Ragnarok and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 all three of those trailers to me were, now granted those were full trailers.
True.
But I mean, Thor Ragnarok, that's the first trailer. So I mean, we get and it's actually coming out a month before the Star Wars movie. So it's actually, Thor's pretty comparable. But
yeah,
all three of those, as soon as I saw the trailer, I was like, well, actually Guardians, I think it was the second trailer that blew me away. But either way,
the one about the gardeners of the galaxy, and she's like why would we be the gardeners of the galaxy? I just thought that whole scene was funny.
Anyway, but all three of those trailers I thought were very, very effective, and and like I'm on board when I saw that. But when I saw the Last Jedi trailer, I was like, yeah, it was pretty good. Like, I mean, Luke sounds like an asshole, honestly, and
yeah.
I'm a big Luke Skywalker fan, but when he's like, the only thing I know is that it's time for the Jedi to go away, I was like, you're kind of a Debbie Downer, aren't you? Like, come on, Luke, don't be an asshole. Like, you started all this shit,
Yeah,
whose fault is
Luke.
it? Yeah. Like, and why are you training her? Huh?
You and Yoda.
Yeah, so, but everybody's, I was watching some of the footage, people going nuts, and I kind of wish I was able to go out there for Star Wars Celebration, because it's in Orlando this year.
Oh, well, that's good.
They had that and WrestleMania in the same year.
Well, that's big for Orlando then.
Yeah.
And the new opening of the freaking volcano water park thing.
That will be in late May.
Yeah, that's coming. So that's going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping to go in October.
Yeah, it's going to be it's. I remember going past it as it was started to be built, and I'm like, what in the world is that? It is massive, people. Mm-hmm. Absolutely massive.
Yeah, I didn't get too good a look at it, but I did pass it. Funny enough, when I was actually leaving Universal to go back, no, I guess it was the day before I went to the airport, but the last day that I was at Universal Studios, I passed it on the interstate and was like, okay. I think it's gonna be really cool when you're in the park, but from the road, I guess because I was driving, I didn't really get to
really take it in.
Yeah. So, but I am excited for that.
Yeah, they're selling condos right around it too. So of course that was great marketing.
This is how lonely I am. I thought you were saying they're selling condoms right around it, like, because all those people are
there's just guys out there with condoms and little like.
Well, there's gonna be a section of it that's very reflective of, like, those parts of the Caribbean where you can like get naked, and do what you got to do. So
that's what I do.
They don't want to have anybody having those Universal babies. Yeah.
No, you don't want those. No. Yeah, stupid people naming them things like whatever they name them, like Harry Potter and
or Rip Ride Johnson.
Yeah, it'd be weird.
That'll be my.
But anyway. But it's I think the Star Wars thing is going to be pretty good. I hope the movie is going to be, to me, a little bit better than the last one I saw. Just like I said, I'm hard when it comes to Star Wars movies, because the original ones, just to me, were just, let's leave it die. This was too good.
Well, the original ones were made with, like, people fighting and collaborating. They weren't commercial products. They came from a far more innocent time in filmmaking, which isn't to say that they didn't have, like, big studio productions back then, but
right.
But they were in their way, they were more innocent. And now,
and yet still ahead of their time when they were done. I mean, the way they did things was revolutionary at that time.
But the thing is, like, in a way, the most you can do is do what The Force Awakens did, which is make something feel like a Star Wars film, because you can't. The problem is, like, instead of exploring that universe and telling the same kind of, like, because the thing is, they're pulp stories. They're all pulp characters. And that's what makes, that's one thing that you can give George Lucas, even though he's not really primarily responsible for the success of Star Wars. He's just sort of he's the Stan Lee of the Star Wars universe. Like, without him, it's not there. but he's probably not the person who's most responsible. If any one person is most responsible for its success, but you can kind of like replicate the feel of it, but people aren't like, what they ought to do is do stories in that universe that are like 1,000 years in the future or something like that. You know,
sure.
Like new characters that have nothing to do with Han, Luke, and Leia. You know, let that story die and do, you know, pulp stories set in that universe instead of trying to do like they're doing the young Han Solo thing. And I'm like, I don't want to see that. Leave Han Solo alone, you know?
How come they never did like a Star Wars? You know, we know the universe is specific. You know, how come they never thought about doing a, you know, let's cross it. Let's cross the universe. Let's literally cross the universe. Let's get these characters to a place that people know. Let's get these characters to a planet they've never seen before called Earth.
I mean, that's an idea. I don't necessarily have a problem with it or an affinity for the idea. I like I said, like my thing is pulp. I don't know. I don't want to harp on this, but the pulp characters and pulp stories just have a very classic adventure feel, you know, and that's what makes them work. True. You know, and the setting itself doesn't really matter. It just it's gotta have a certain. I don't even know. Honestly, I've literally reached a point in me speaking where I'm like, I don't really know how to explain any of what I'm thinking right now. So,
well, I understand. I have an idea, but because on a side note, I'm all for pulp too, because that's how I like my juice.
And that's how I like to poop. I like to poop pulp.
I don't like pulpy poop. That'd be weird. Kind of weird. Yeah.
But yeah, you know. But I love those movies. And have you? Well, you're a busy man. I don't imagine you've had a chance to watch Star Wars Rebels, huh?
I've seen a couple episodes of it. Yeah, I have. Just randomly.
Yeah, it's the best Star Wars has been since those original movies, honestly. And there's really, it's a perfect example of what they should be doing with those movies, because the guy who runs it, Dave Filoni, he just gets it. Like he knows, like he does throw in like allusions to like other Star Wars stuff, but in a very subtle way, in a way that's not like, hey, look, here's R2. I mean, actually R2D2 does show up at one point, but it's it just they get the basic concept of what made those movies work in the first place. And it's just amazing work. And they actually just announced at the Star Wars Celebration that the 4th season, which is coming up, will be the last season. So that's pretty sad for me, just because I love that show.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on to something, because you said you had something to talk about with was it charities or?
Yeah, I had a it's kind of a bizarre thing that happened. I was asked by some people we know come up with something catchy for a sale that they're doing. Now it's, you know, we just went through the Easter season. Mm-hmm. And they were doing, it's the South, you know, I don't know if they do it down here, but everybody for some reason sells Boston butts for charity. You know,
wait, what?
Do they sell Boston butts down there?
I've never even heard of that.
Well, Boston butt, it's like it's a pork roast. It's like
okay.
like barbecue pulled pork, but not pulled yet. Boston butts. Anyway, smoked butt. So yeah, that's why it's funny to me too. I find it always amazing too, because we didn't do that up north, you know, and I only really saw that when I moved to the South. I didn't know how far south it went. But anyway, so they're smoking these Boston butts, you know, and stuff for and people pick them up and they buy them, and then a portion of the sales goes to charities, which is very, very nice, you know, whatever the charity is for that year, you know, helping families that need whatever, you know, what else not. But what it was like, we need to focus on upsales. You know, don't just get one Boston butt. You need to buy the full dinner. You need to decide. You know, that makes sense, right? You're buying one part of a meal. Why not buy the entire meal, right? You want to get all the side dishes, the macaroni and cheese, whatever you get with barbecue, right?
Right.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So they were like, Justin, you're good at coming up with these type of things. He says, we need something catchy on a sign. We want to put out at the road. Well, I was like, all right, well, I'm trying to think of something catchy, but they're trying to sell these through Easter. So where they're selling them is at the base. There's this little area, little tiny building. And at the beginning of the bridge it's like a big bridge. It comes up into the air and then it lands on the island. And right on the island is this big church where everybody likes to come to the island, come to the beach, and go to church on Easter Sunday. So without thinking about any of that, what it was at the base of the bridge, there's this little building. And then it goes up in the air and dumps out on the island, and everybody on Easter goes to church, right, at this big, big church right on the beach, which is really, really pretty. But I wasn't thinking about any of that. I was thinking about clever marketing, something clever to put on a sign to sell things. And I'm like, all right, well, why not, why are you going to buy one Boston butt when you can get two Boston butts? Because it's just like half. Basically, it's one butt cheek. That's a Boston butt, one butt cheek. So it's like, you need the whole thing. So I came up with a sign, made this big sign. We stuck it at the end of the road. It said, "Don't do Easter half-ass. Get two Boston butts for one low price." And I thought that was great. So everybody coming on the island, there's this big sign that says, "Don't do Easter half-ass." Apparently, some people got a little offended by it, but you know what? It doesn't matter because a lot more people thought it was funny.
As soon as you said it's only one cheek, I was like, he's not going to do it. He's not going to. Yep. He's not going to do it.
Yep, I did it.
And you did it, yeah.
Well, that's how you want to upsell to the whole ass, right?
I can't.
Can you argue that? I mean,
I can't argue with that logic. You're right.
So there it is. That was my whole story. I just thought it was kind of funny, but yeah. So yeah, if you're out and you want to get a Boston butt, but you know what? Get two.
Don't be an ass.
Don't be an ass. Eat
two.
Ass.
No.
Eat ass for charity.
Oh my God. That's the name of this episode. Eat ass for charity. I can't even. I don't even know where to go after that. Quite frankly, we might have to. That might be it for the episode, which is fine. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention before we get off?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I just, yeah, it was good for Star Wars. We've learned a little bit about eating ass, and there you go.
You motherfucker. Thank you to PM Star Productions for allowing us to talk about eat ass on this episode.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hopefully Caitlin feels better. I don't know what's up with that, and we'll the next episode will be out of synchronicity with this one. We're going to talk about some stuff that's been in the news. And so yeah, all right. I've been your host, Adam,
and I'm the Rum Guy.
And Backstreet's back. I don't know. Keep it metal.
Keep it metal, y'all.
And eat ass.
Yeah.
All right.
Freaks